good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is Mark coming back at y'all again. And tonight, what I want to talk about is Debelah Morgan and do a vocal analysis video about her. And the reason why I've decided to do a vocal analysis video on Debelah Morgan tonight is because I've been studying her voice for the past several days now, and let me just be the first to say that she has one of the most amazing voices out there that doesn't get the credit that she deserves, and I don't think that's right. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if most people didn't even know who she was, because that's how underrated she is. And for those of you who don't know who Debelah Morgan is, she was the one that came out with that song "Dance With Me" back in 2000, and she also came out with other songs too, like "Take It Easy" back in '94, and she also did a cover song of Denise Williams' song that she did back in the '70s called "Free." So I recommend y'all going on YouTube and looking up some of her songs, because I'm telling you, y'all gonna be blown away just like I had. And with that being said, I'm just gonna roll on right into this analysis. Now, regarding her voice, we all can agree that she's a soprano, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, what kind of soprano would she be? I'll probably say that she is either a light lyric soprano or a lyric coloratura soprano. And I'll probably say that she's more of a lyric coloratura soprano. And for those of you who don't know what a coloratura soprano is, it's basically the highest soprano voice there is that specializes in high notes and those voices are very agile, and they do all of these vocal acrobatics and all that stuff, that are real complicated and all that stuff. So that's basically what a coloratura soprano is. And so I'll classify Debelah Morgan as a lyric coloratura soprano, as a soloist. Now, if she was in a choir, I'll probably will place her as first soprano because her voice sits comfortably in a higher range, since she is a soprano, and her voice is very bright and very light and high and all that stuff. So I'll probably have to place her as first soprano in the choir. And I already have my notes written down, in my notebook, just to give you an explanation of why I think Debelah is a particular voice type, or a coloratura soprano specifically. So I'm gonna just read these notes real quick. So let me just talk about her lower register. Her lower register is very whispery up until the E3, and her lowest note, by the way, is a C sharp 3. Her belting range, well, her chest voice or her belting voice or whatever you want to call it, is very warm, light, angelic. It's not very strong. It's not very powerful. Like her belting range is very delicate. Her chest voice and all that stuff. She doesn't really have a super big voice, and sometimes she be grunting, like especially on notes like G5 and all that stuff. And her highest belt in mixed voice that she showcased so far was a G sharp 5 in the studio. I don't know what it is live, but all I know is that in the studio, her highest belt that she has showcased so far was a G sharp 5. And obviously she's not a belter, belting isn't really her thing, and it's not her strength. And her head voice, this is where Debelah shines at, especially beginning around D6 or at D6. And her whistle register, now this is when Debelah really sounds good. And especially beginning at E flat 6, because in her whistle register it's very agile, and that's that's what I think her strength is at. It's mostly in agility because her voice is very agile, especially in the whistle register, because that's the part that she excels at the most. Especially since she's a soprano and all that stuff. And oh, by the way, I was looking at one of her videos on YouTube, at one of her live performances, and somebody made a comment saying that Debelah is a great vocalist, but a horrible singer, all because they think that singing is about telling a story, not hitting the highest note or the most complicated note. And Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that she's a horrible singer. I wouldn't say that she's not a powerhouse, that's for sure. And I'm not saying that you have to be a powerhouse just to be considered to be a great vocalist. But I could probably agree with that person to a certain extent. Like, her voice is not very soulful, especially when it comes to belting, because her voice is very delicate and it's very light and very fragile and all that stuff. But I want to go as far as saying that she's a horrible singer, or anything like that. Now, I do agree with that person about one thing. Singing is about telling a story, and it's about singing from your heart. You know, displaying emotion and feeling what you're singing about. And I don't really necessarily feel that from Debelah either. Like, she's not one of those singers that can really cut through your soul or anything like that. Like, I feel like she's just singing just to be singing. That's not to say that she's a bad singer, but she's not a very soulful singer, in my opinion, because it's just like I said before, her voice is very delicate. Especially when it comes to her belting range, because she's not really much of a belter. And in fact, I think, the best part about her voice and the strongest part about her voice is her whistle register, because that's where she excels at the most. Because that's the parts where she's very agile, and that's where she has the most control over. And from what I understand, she has been classically trained before, and she has a video on YouTube that explains her vocal technique on what she does with warming up and all that stuff, and how she's able to reach certain notes, and how she was able to get a real agile and all that stuff. So y'all could also find it on YouTube as well. And is that it? But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about. Like I said before, her voice type as a soloist is most likely a lyric coloratura soprano. And if she was in a choir, I'll place her as first soprano. And that's just about it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and all of the information to my social media will be down there in the description box below. And in the meantime, I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.